And we had this one couple come in, and he was all for it. He was so excited, and his wife was so aggressive and just so angry and just so, I think she was really unwell, very sick. All emotions are welcome. And the transformation after the first 2-hour session was just phenomenal. You know, after her first session, she was still a little bit like, don't know about this. A lot of emotions coming up for me. It makes me feel really uncomfortable, not sure if I'm going to come back. And then every week consistently they've come back. She came in, I think, was it 2 weeks ago, and she said that the cancer's gone, which is incredible.
Reminder, you did not come here to play someone else's game, to box yourself in, or to let fear guide your choices. You came here to experience joy and abundance and to love the shit out of your life. The Trajectory podcast is here to remind you of a few important truths. 1, you are the creator of your reality. 2, anything that you can dream or imagine, you can create. 3, following passion is the quickest way to align you with your true path. 4, your reality is always a reflection of your current thoughts and beliefs, and those thoughts and beliefs can be changed at any time. You are amazing, and it's time to own who you really are. Tune in weekly to be reminded that you can create the life that you're dreaming of and to learn exactly how to do it. Get inspired by those who have been bold enough to follow their passions and have created their dream life because of it. If you're ready to stop playing small, stop holding yourself back, and start aligning with your trajectory, let's do it. Today, I have a very special soul with me who's put me into this beautiful energy. I'm so grateful. I feel like I could have a nap right now, and in the best way. That doesn't mean I'm bored. That means I'm so relaxed. I have Aleesha with me, who is the owner of Solibrium Wellness Center. We'll talk a lot about that soon because it's very exciting stuff that she's into. She is a Reiki and German new medicine teacher. She's a vocalist and sound therapist and so many other things. We were just saying it's hard to put things into a bio because we're so multidimensional. We've got so many different sides to us. So this is just a little snippet of what Aleesha is up to. But how are you going, Aleesha? Thank you so much for being here.
I'm so well. Thank you so much for having me. What an honor it is to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited, honestly. So I've been wanting to know about, I've actually been wanting to come to Solibrium for a while, but I'm not driving at the moment, so it's a little bit harder for me. And you're in Wollongong, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yes, I'm in Canberra at the moment, so it's a little bit of a trek to catch a bus or something, but I'll get there. But can you tell the listeners, what is Solibrium? Because there's a lot going on there, right?
There is, and I even struggled to kind of define this as well. So again, it's so multifaceted, so quantum. But Soulibrium is an ancient Egyptian-inspired wellness centre, and we're based in Wollongong, as you mentioned. We offer a variety of holistic wellbeing services, and our main offering is the energy enhancement system, which is also known as the EE system or EES.
Okay, so first of all, I didn't realize it was actually ancient Egyptian inspired, even though right now, as you say that, I'm seeing the logo, and there's an ankh in the logo, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's beautiful. So before we get into the EE system, because we definitely want to talk about that, I'm fascinated by this technology that's starting to take the world by storm and doing all those things while more people are finding out about it. Can we tap into that ancient Egyptian connection? What is that? Why did Solibrium come from sort of that lineage? What's your connection with ancient Egypt?
It's a really common question, and it's like, how is the EE system and ancient Egypt related? I have a lot of connection with my past lives, and I remember this technology, and I remember using it in Atlantis and similar technologies in Egypt. And so, there's so much of our history that we have been taught not to believe or not taught. And so the connection that I have with ancient Egypt is so profound that it had to be that. Spirit guided me there and just said, this has got to be it. So it may not make sense on the outside, but it's also interrelated, Atlantis and Egypt and all of our past lives. So there's that connection there.
I love that. So have you always been really connected to spirit, or did you sort of have a bit of an awakening later in life?
As a child, I would always see spirits. Wow. And I remember my dad was very Catholic, and he would always say, I can see Jesus and I can see Mary, and I've had these angel visions. And my dad's always been really spiritual, but never really knew how to hone into that. And it would always freak me out as a child. So I blocked a lot of what I was seeing. I had a lot of sleep issues. I would see things at night. And so I just blocked it out. And then it wasn't until probably about 6 years ago, I was working in government, working in just a customer service role, and the customers that I was seeing every day were draining the life out of me. I was exhausted and I had no understanding of what this was or how it would work. And so I ended up seeing Reiki on Facebook, and I started beginning to see a local Reiki healer and just diving into that. And I had absolutely no intention of doing this work at all. I remember her saying to me, you've got to come and do the Reiki training. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I like it for myself. I love the feeling of it. I'm good. I'm not going to make money off that. That was my thing. I was like, how am I going to make money off that? My government job's where it's going to be. And it wasn't until I just did the Reiki training, because she kept kind of like persisting me to do it, that even then I didn't really use it. I learned it, and I learned it for myself, but had no intention at all of using it. And I connected in with spirit over time. It was a gradual progression, and the more work I did on this journey, the more that I built that connection with them. But it's always been there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such a common theme that I hear with people, whether through the podcast or just in the world that I'm talking to, these people who are very connected to spirit, who are quite clairvoyant like yourself, so you're clear seeing, and even psychics, channels, all sorts of things, mediums. They all say that when they were young, they were seeing all sorts of things and having these experiences, but they were either afraid of them, or they were told that was stupid or silly or not real or whatever. And whatever the circumstances, they all shut those abilities down. And then so they do sort of start to awaken later in life. But I am amazed that I didn't know that you used to work in the government. That is the reason I started this podcast, because I too used to work in the government for 7 years, and it was killing my soul. And, shout out to anyone who can do that work and who loves that work. That's fine. Amazing for you. But for me, as a creative, multi-creative person who needs to express myself in many ways, that was a very long 7 years, very miserable. And that's why I do this podcast, to help anyone who might be in that sort of situation to start moving towards the job and the career and the true path that is aligned for them, which is what you've done. So that's even more like close to my heart, the fact that you've gone from a government role into this true aligned work, and you're just so in it right now. So I'm so like skipping all over the place because you're just bringing so many things to the table. We will get to the EE system in a minute, but how was that transition, moving from government to Solibrium and letting spirit guide you a lot of the way? Were there sort of like big things, big leaps, or was it really gradual? Like, how was that transition?
I could say, what do I really want to say? It was awful. No, it wasn't awful. It was just a lot. It was so hard. Yeah. And just honoring myself, looking back, it was so hard. There were moments where I was like, why did I decide to do this? Why did I put my hand up for this? There were so many moments, but then in the duality of it all, it was also so beautiful. And there were so many moments where I was like, yes, that's why. And just so many aha moments. So it was awful, but also incredibly humbling and beautiful all at the same time. And it's such an honor to be able to walk this path, because, not everyone gets to do this. So I'm very grateful.
And especially the fact that you can remember from your past lives, you're sort of picking up the work that you left off there. Like, that's got to be really empowering to feel that way. Yeah,
and we didn't succeed last time. So there was a big wound that I had around like the fear of not being able to get this done this time. But we've already superseded that already. So it's exciting to see how this evolves and how this goes into being even more expansive and supportive and transformational for people.
Wow. Okay. So in that case, let's get to the EE system. So you're saying that this specific system was available back in ancient Atlantis and ancient Egyptian days?
Yeah.
Was it in a different form, or was it the same
technology? Different form, but a similar technology, because this is a blend of a multitude of different frequencies. So Schumann resonance, scalar, grounding, angel frequencies, color and light therapy. It's a combination of a lot of healing modalities put together in one device. And I think that's what really sets it apart, because it's not targeting a specific thing like other devices are. It's overall looking at the overall well-being of our body and our homeostasis. And I think that's why it's really special. And it's similar to what we used, but we used so many different technologies back then. Like, we're in the age of Aquarius. Technology is going to be the way that we heal.
So many questions. Okay, first of all, let's go back. I want to get into crystal technology soon, but with the energies that you're working with. So I totally understand what you're saying about there's multitude of different energy healing modalities happening at the same time. Because I know some people just heal with color. Some people just heal with light. Some people tap into the angelic realms. So they just do that one thing. So this sounds really fascinating. But you said you've got the Schumann resonance, which is the Earth's frequency, right? Is that correct? So you're harmonizing people. Hertz. Yeah. So that's harmonizing people's energy with the Earth. Is that the purpose of that?
Yeah. So it's grounding essentially. And we've got a lot against us, right? Our air, our water, our Wi-Fi, everything around us, we aren't living in an optimal environment. And so even if we do our best, there are still the elements out of our control that we are unable to, change. So we have to kind of sit with that. And I love this because when you walk in, it's the optimal environment for the body. So our body has an ability to regenerate and heal. And when we give it the right environment and the right tools and the right nutrients and all of that, our body is able to, do its thing, what it's naturally intended to do. Like we cut our skin, it heals. We break a bone, it heals. It's the same principle. Belief is also a big thing, but that's another topic. But all of that together is how this is working. And so I think that this is why it's super important for everyone to tend to their environment and tend to their terrain, because that's a big part of it.
Oh my gosh. Again, there's so many things that have just come out from that. I do want to understand scalar waves a little bit more, because I know Tesla used to talk about them, and I just love Tesla. I think he was just the most amazing human.
Me too. So cool.
But also belief. I do want to tap into that a little bit, because that for me is the biggest, most exciting thing that I've been learning about this last year. And this is where manifestation comes into it. But understanding the subconscious mind and understanding that anything you tell it to believe, it will present that to you in your reality. Like I tested it with it sounds very silly, but my skin. Like I've always had quite bad skin, no matter what I eat, whether it's too much sugar, not enough sugar, this or that, whatever. But I always have quite bad skin. And I started learning, there's a Dr. Joseph Murphy here. He has some amazing books about the subconscious mind. I think he passed away in the 50s or something. So he was a little bit older. And he was just breaking it down so simply, going, just tell your mind when you go to bed, like it knows how to heal your body. It has the blueprint of perfect health. It's just your beliefs are constantly telling it what not to do, and the environment, like you said. And when I thought about it, I was like, wow, what I'm telling my skin, every time I eat something that's sugary, I'm saying to myself, my skin's going to get bad. My skin's going to get bad. And I was doing that on repeat every day whenever I'd have sugar. So I stopped doing that. And within 2 weeks, I've never had more clear skin. It blew my freaking mind. And that's just one little test. You know what I mean? So it's like, what else is possible? So you experience this every day, right?
Yeah. And with German New Medicine, I don't know if you've ever heard of that before,
No.
but we look at the belief behind, it's a whole nother topic, but in terms of what you're saying about how food, or how we see food and how we feel about food and what we're digesting is way more important than what we're actually digesting. And obviously being mindful of what we do, but how we feel about what we're consuming is huge.
Yes.
And I think that's sorry, I'm just going to cough. I think that's the reason why the powers that be, or the marketing that we have, makes us feel really not great about certain things that we consume. Or there's a lot of a confusion. Because the confusion, it's like, oh, am I really eating what's good for me? I'm not sure. I think it's good. I've been told it's good, but is it good? Yep. I think that's huge. The belief's massive. So good on you for the skin stuff. That's amazing.
Thank you. But yeah, you've confirmed it. It really is that. It's that, something that really turned me on to this as well was the placebo effect. Like Joe Dispenza was always talking about that going, and every time they create a new drug, they do a double-blind study or something where they basically get people, and I might be saying this wrong, but they get people to test the new drug, and then they get people to test a fake version of that drug, but they tell them that it is that drug, and they tell them what it's going to do to their body. And they were having the same, if not better, results in the placebo version of that. So like you say, if you're eating lettuce, but you're telling yourself it's poison, then it's going to hurt your body. But vice versa, even though it's not ideal, you could be eating really crappy food and telling yourself it's great for you, and it could be doing great things to you because you are that powerful. And that's what boggles my mind, because I'm like, wow. So being aware of our thoughts is such a huge superpower in this world that we're living in, this illusion world that we're living in every day, but we just don't understand that we have that sort of power. So people like you bringing this to the forefront is incredible. I'm so excited. So we have talked about the EE system. What are scalar waves? Is that worth digging into a little bit, or is it too complex?
We can chat about it. It is complex, but I'll keep it really like high level.
Please dumb it down. Yes.
So scalar waves are the infinity wave. So
okay.
You'll see that toroidal field. So sacred geometry, the infinity wave, or the torus. So that's an E medallion. And so the torus itself is that infinity wave because, okay, how do I just explain this? So the screens that we have in the room, we have 12 screens. So those 12 screens are completely laser aligned with a little point. Every 3 months we recalibrate them because they've got to be exactly the same distance from each other. So completely running parallel to each other, facing each other. Wow. And the reason for that is because it's so precise in the way that it's designed so that the scalar waves actually are moving and flowing in that coherent field. And that coherent energy field is our natural state of well-being. And so when that is in the room, that is actually providing the optimal environment for the body to feel back into balance. And hence the name Solibrium, equilibrium, bringing the body back into balance, if that makes sense.
Wow, that makes so much sense. Thank you for doing that. Yes, you made it make sense. That's fantastic. Okay, wow. I need to get some footage of this stuff and put it on these teasers because I want people to see this incredible technology. It looks basically like TVs, right? It's like just TVs, just with some glitches happening.
It kind of looks like a broken TV. And a common question we get is like, do I have to look at them? I don't really feel like I can look at them. I'm like, no, that's fine. You can have an eye mask on. There's no, the color therapy is great, but it's not there for you to stare at. So yeah.
It's just affecting you in your own way. Wow. So I saw on your socials the other day, I was sort of having a bit of a research, loved it. And I was seeing a post that you were saying about how you support skepticism and people using their own discernment. So have you dealt with anyone who was really skeptical and ended up having great results, which sort of turned their beliefs around? Have you noticed any of this happening?
There's a few. Usually it's like a partner will be really into it, like follow Jason, or be like super, have rabbit holed into it and they're like so excited. But they want to bring their partner along because they're not well or they think they probably need it more than they do. And we had this one couple come in and he was all for it. He was so excited. And his wife was so aggressive and just so angry and just so... I think she was really unwell, very sick, had cancer. And so there's a lot of pent up emotion within the body. And so her first session, she was really aggressive towards like staff and to us. And we welcome that because all emotions are welcome. Mm-hmm. And the transformation after the first 2-hour session was just phenomenal. Just the lightness in the face. And, after her first session, she was still a little bit like, don't know about this. A lot of emotions coming up for me. Not knowingly why. It makes me feel really uncomfortable, not sure if I'm going to come back. And then every week consistently they've come back. So seeing them come back consistently has been amazing. And just seeing the transformation every week of the emotion of how much lighter she's become and more friendly and more open. She was just so closed off and didn't even realize that all the emotion from having an illness or from experiencing trauma has really closed her off. And she came in, I think, was it 2 weeks ago, and she said that the cancer's gone, which is incredible. But that's her coming in and her doing that and being in the right environment, but she's doing the work. And that's the empowering thing about discernment and about being able to make your own decisions and welcome the skepticism, because I think it's really, really important that people feel aligned to come. People are wanting to come. There's no like, oh, I'm just coming in desperation. I want to come because I want to try it. I want to see what this does for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. What sort of other healings do you see occurring in people? Is it generally quite subtle and they sort of just have this feeling of, that was just fantastic, I just feel more balanced? Or are there like bigger shifts that are happening in people?
Both. And again, it depends on a variety of factors. Everyone is so different. But I think the biggest thing is it's very subtle. We can see these testimonials, which are fabulous. But I don't want people to attach the testimonials as like, okay, I want that instantly, because it's not a realistic view. We need to work together holistically and see what's going on and where the transformation needs to take place. And so we have, other services that we offer in support and in conjunction with the EE system. But the shifts are, I'd say some people come 50 to 100 hours. So depending on where they're at, how they're experiencing the world, what their environment's like at home, where they're at in their journey, is really a determining factor to how well they receive this. And again, belief.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, I would imagine the ones that really just let go. It's like the ones, same people. The same thing happens with the Dr. Joe Dispenza big workshop sort of things, where some people will be blind and they'll leave with their sight, but it's because they've allowed themselves to heal. They've allowed themselves to release that thing that was blocking their energy system. So this is so exciting. Oh my gosh. So what's your favorite part about what you do? Like, you do so many different things, right? So what's like a normal week look like for you, and what's your favorite part?
It's such a hard question. A normal week, it looks so different because I kind of have taken more of a overall like perspective, because obviously there's a lot of business operations in the human experience that we have to do, all the boring stuff. So I like to get that out first thing Monday, all the payroll and all those things. But traditionally my week looks like, Reiki, German New Medicine, one-on-one clients. We offer the BioWell as well, which is like a chakra scan. And so people can put their finger into a machine and it actually reads their energy centers and reads where they're at. So they can come in and do that before, and then they can do it after. So they get a bit of more of a tangible reading to see the shifts. If it's subtle and they're like, oh, I don't really know if that really helped me or worked, they can see, oh, look at my chakras, they're more aligned now, or look at my meridians in the body or whatever. So we do those as well. And then having a bit of fun with the staff, I think that's really important to shake things up, because sometimes emotions can be quite heavy. A lot of people are dealing with a lot, and I try to make sure that we have a lot of fun in between sessions, and just bring a lot of lightheartedness to that, because sometimes it can be a really, really heavy role sometimes, and that's good. That's why we're here. And then every month we do like events. So we do like full moon events, or like we've got the Lionsgate event coming up for 8/8 portal. And so it's a lot of like event planning and organizing with different people. And, last night we had our Reiki practitioner circle. So all the practitioners come together and we do like Reiki on each other. So there's like 4 people to 1, which is just incredible. Like 4 healers on 1 person. It's just such a different experience.
Super healing.
Yeah, and it's awesome to bring the practitioners together, because we are lifting the vibrational frequency of the planet, but also supporting each other, because sometimes as practitioners, we are always often the last people that we think of when we look at self-care. So I think that's really fun.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying this episode so far and getting a lot of value out of it. I'd love to ask you to take just a couple of seconds to rate and subscribe to this channel. Once you do that, take a screenshot, let me see that subscribe button hit and the rating, DM that to me on Instagram at Trujectory, one word, and I have a gift for you. I'm going to send you a link that's going to lead you to some digital artwork. These are pieces that are all original photography. I've gone out in nature and taken some beautiful shots. I've got some quotes over the top. I've got some affirmations. And these are pieces that you can blow up to any size that you wish and hang them around your home or your office. And they're going to keep you in a positive mental headspace at all times. Whenever you look at them, they're really calming, beautiful pieces. So thank you so much in advance for rating and subscribing. I really appreciate your support. It's going to help us get these messages out to a larger audience. And I want this space to be somewhere that you can come every single week to be supported, to be motivated, to be inspired, to be reminded that you can create the life that you choose. And all of the beautiful guests that I have on every week are examples of just that. So thank you in advance. I've got so much love for you. Stay true, and I'll see you soon. I just love that you have a career that is a multitude of so many different things. I definitely have needed this in my life, and it took me a really long time. Like, I'm talking only probably within the last year, if that I've accepted that that's what I need to do. I kept trying to, I want to do this, so maybe that's what I'm meant to do. I want to do this, maybe that's what I'm meant to do. So I'll go into this path a little bit, and then I might like it for a little while, but then I might fizzle out the energy on it a little bit, and I might come back to it a little bit later. So I started to get really frustrated. Well, most of my life I was, because I was like, what am I meant to do? And it turns out I didn't understand human design either until recently. And when I found out about manifesting generators, and that's what I am, someone who actually, my role is to do multiple things. Like I get burnout if I'm trying to do one thing. And it's very common for people like me with my energy type to start on something, and then as soon as that energy fades, my job is to pivot and go and do something else. And so it's taken such a long time to get used to this, make peace with it, and then start filtering different things in that I can make a full, well-rounded career out of. But it sounds like you've done the same. How's that journey been for you?
Yeah, it's a great question, because I delved into human design a couple of years back, and it was life-changing for me. So I'm a mental projector 1-3 line. Okay. And so it's quite a rare type in the sense that the mental projector aspect. So the only centers I have defined are my ajna, third eye, and the throat chakra. Everything else is undefined. So I was always a little bit wobbly, a little bit awkward at school when I was younger. So I never really felt within my body. The only true connection I had was my voice and being able to see. And in terms of the work week, I realized that I was getting so burnt out, because my aura, I need a generator or a mini-gen around me to be able to lift that. So usually I'll try and co-work with people, but I also need a lot of alone time to recharge. And we're only meant to be working 4 hours a day. And I was like, how am I supposed to complete this mission if I can only work 4 hours a day? Like, it makes no sense. And I had to really accept that too, and sit with that and go, you know what, it's okay to work 4 hours a day. You know, it doesn't always happen, but it's okay to work 4 hours a day and rest. And the ultimate projector life is having a bed in the office somewhere and just being able to have a little nap and then keep going.
I love that. I think that should be normalized for all jobs, honestly. It's so true. It's just so different, especially it's always around that like 3 p.m. mark where it's sort of like, I think that's when your melatonin starts to kick in and you start to like descend for the day. And if you just have like a 30-minute nap, you get a whole new few hours out of it and you got all this new energy.
For sure.
I love that. So do you ever get burnout anymore, or have you mastered it? Yeah. How do you work through that?
I do get burnt out, but it's not the same as it used to be. So I think my threshold has obviously changed because I'm really aware of it. So I'm like, as soon as I feel I'm getting burnt out, I'll go to the beach. The beach is my one place where I feel like I can come back. And obviously sitting in the EE system is fantastic as well, because it regulates the nervous system. So I'll have an EE system session. Usually I do them at night because that's the only time I really can get in there. But yeah, I'll have a session there. But if it's during the day, I'll just go for a walk or go to the beach, go for a swim. I love swimming. And that always brings me back. And as a projector, just kind of delegating tasks to different people. If there's things that I just don't have the ability to do, it's just being okay with delegating, because sometimes I like to just hold on to the stuff because I like doing it the way I like doing it.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's been hard, but yeah, that's just how I do it. We have to, because we have to look after ourselves. Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, that's so good. I feel ya. Read the delegating. It's when you're so used to doing everything yourself and in the way that you like, it's like, oh, this is tricky. But it's the only way you can ever scale anything or, you know, find some spaciousness in your life. And so, yeah, wow, that's a big one. Are there any like non-negotiables that you have every day to maintain your well-being? Like,
I love a lot of variety. I do maintain that variety is not really like a set non-negotiable, but as long as I meet one of those in the list, which is like movement, sun, sometimes the weather's not great, so I'll do some yin yoga, depending on the weather. As long as I get some form of movement, breath work, meditation, I'm good. It doesn't always have to look the same. It doesn't have to be the same. It could be 5 minutes while I'm driving, or just stopping on the middle of the side of the road and just meditating and then keep going. It's not something that I find that I have to do it, because I find in the rigidity, I stress out. I think, oh gosh, I've got to do that one thing. And that kind of keeps me stuck. So for me, it's not really a non-negotiable. It's more just, okay, I need to give myself that time to recharge.
Yeah, good on you. And again, like being okay with it not being the same every day, you know, like, I don't know if it's just me, but when I started on this, you know, self-development journey and self-mastery and trying to figure myself out a bit more and heal myself, I kept sort of falling into, well, it's got to look like this. Well, I've got to meditate for an hour every single day in the same spot every morning or every night. And life just doesn't do that. You know what I mean? Like life is constantly moving, and being okay with the fact that your rituals are changing every day, your self-care practices fit in with your schedule. Like, I think that's so beautiful. And there's so many different things that we can do these days. We have so many options. And you, like, being able to go sit in the EE system whenever you want, how fantastic is that?
That's pretty good.
That'd be awesome. Have you ever fallen asleep? Have you ever, like, had a nap in there?
Yeah, so that's really the intention. I mean, you don't always have to sleep. You can meditate or read a book, or some people struggle because there's 2-hour sessions, minimum of 2 hours, because you don't really get the full opportunity for the body to go into that sleep state or deep relaxation state. So that's why 2 hours is really important. But traditionally, it's meant to be for sleep. So eye mask, an eye pillow, and just resting and sleeping. Some people like to meditate if you can, but some people that are new to this journey, they can't meditate yet. They still struggle with that. So it's a good option for them to have a colouring in book or read a book or whatever that may be. But, you know, it makes me so sleepy in there. I have the best sleeps and the most like vivid dreams. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that's wicked. Yeah, because from the sounds of it, it's like I just would want to sleep in there. You'd get so many different levels of healing just bombarding you. I wouldn't probably be able to keep my eyes open. I'd be like, I'm so relaxed.
Well, it's so important that you do get to sleep, because it allows the body to really get into that deep sleep healing state. So that's where you want to be at. And then after the session, you usually would do a salt bath. So it's like a non-negotiable. After the session, you'll go home and do 2 cups of sea salt, 2 cups of bicarb, and 1 cup of and that bath recipe helps the body to eliminate any toxins that may be dispelling, because people seem to have like get headaches or have like detox symptoms because the body's trying to do its thing, but it's working overtime. So what the bath does will actually bring that out for them. So it just assists the body.
So first of all, what do people do if they don't have a bath? Because I'm thinking of myself.
Good question.
And what is borax? Because I've heard about this and I know it's very important.
Yeah, so if we say this on social media, we'll get, you know, like, what's the word?
Censored?
Censored. That's the word I was looking for. So we get censored. So usually we'll type it in a different way, but we're not on social media, so it's okay. With borax has been in the media portrayed as something that is, you know, a negative thing, but essentially
fantastic.
Borax,
so we mean it's 100% positive then.
It's great. The opposite of what we're told.
Of course.
And what it does is it helps detox graphene oxide out of the body.
What's that again?
So that is from those things that we all were made to feel like we had to get, that we didn't have to really get.
Yes. Okay.
So that's helping that come out of the body.
No wonder it's so censored. Okay. Cool.
And any other, you know, toxins, parasites or anything like that that's in the body. Yeah. So that's what's helping that.
And if people don't have a bath, can they just do a foot bath or?
Yes. So foot bath is absolutely fine as long as it's like warm. The ocean's great, but doesn't have the warm element. So, you know, ocean swims are fantastic, but it needs to be in combination with the warm water. As hot as you can have it.
Okay. So does the ocean have that?
It doesn't have borax, but it's got the sea salt.
It's got the sea salt. Okay. Wow. Amazing. That's so interesting. I love that. It's like a continue with the care ritual as you go home throughout the day.
That's right.
Wow. This is just so interesting. And I feel like this is stuff that, you know, a few years from now, we're going to just look at as so normal. Like this will be, you know, instead of the doctors and this and that, there might still be little elements of that, but they're really just dealing with the symptoms of everything. Whereas what you're doing is dealing with the root of everything, which is what we are. We're energy. So you're healing the energy. It's like the core of what we are. So yeah, I'm fascinated.
Instead of targeting a certain thing of like, oh, I want to heal this, I want to do this, I want to do that. It's like glowing from the inside and allowing the body to actually regenerate. And then all of that else is a byproduct. You know, we're so quick to go, I want to lose weight, or I want to kill my skin, or I want to, you know, whatever, which is great. But there's an underlying cause for that. And so when we're using this work or doing this work, by glowing from the inside, the rest will come back into balance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. So I have a couple of questions about the bigger picture sort of stuff, because you have access to so much knowledge about what you're working on now, but also from past lives. I think that's fantastic. People that can remember those things I have little like shutter images here and there and little moments, and I've had lots of psychics confirm lots of things without me saying anything, but I haven't actually got those full blown memories. So I think that's just so beautiful that you do. But what if you could add 2 or 3 things to the school curriculum? What would you love for kids to learn earlier on in life?
Money, abundance, a big one. Instead of, thinking we have to get a really good job to be successful, teaching them really healthy money habits. I think that's something that I really had to master growing up. I came from a family that I never had enough money. We always went without. I was one of 5. And so we just had to share everything, which was great for me looking back, because I really had to learn how to make something out of nothing and learn the value of creation. And how if we live in that state of lack, it inhibits us. So I think that would be my first thing. And I actually have a 12-year-old sister, so she's 18 years younger than me. And I was speaking to her about this last week. And another thing I'd love would be for them to have, somewhere that we could speak about cycles and living cyclically as women and as teens, and understanding that they don't always have to be switched on all the time. We do go through that monthly cycle, the 28 days. We don't always have to be go, go, go. There are phases where we can rest and we can do business, we can work, and we can go to school and do those things in that way. So I think that would be really incredible.
That would be huge. And it's funny, I think it was last week or the week before, one of my other guests said the same thing, and I was like, yes. And it was the first time it came up, and now this is the second time. And honestly, like I said to her, I'm like, yeah, I'm still learning about that stuff. I really genuinely, and again, when you learn more about it and you understand more, you can give yourself a break. You can be less hard on yourself, because I'd always sort of, I want to go, or I want to be able to achieve certain things, but my body is just not okay for at least 2 days of the month. It really just needs to rest, and making peace with that, it's taken such a long time. So to be able to do that in your school years and really understand all the chemicals, the hormones, everything that's going on in your body, I think that would just be such a game changer. And let all the guys know as well. Let them know how to be supportive partners or brothers or whatever, fathers, like everything, because we're not the only ones going through it. Everyone around us is dealing with the wrath. So
I love that. It's so important, isn't it? And I just think back to little Aleesha, and if only she knew all this back then, what power we would have had, the empowerment, instead of feeling so disempowered.
Yeah. But this is why conversations like this are so important, and there's so many of these sorts of conversations happening now. And the connectivity that we have, the internet speed that we have all around the world, the kids of tomorrow will have these skills, will have these opportunities. I'm so excited. I think we're going through a lot right now, globally, obviously, but it has to all break down before it can be rebirthed. And I just feel like the younger generation are just going to be so wise. They have access to everything. Like, we didn't even have really internet when we were younger. You know what I mean? Like, for me, it came into my life 16, 17, something like that, maybe a little bit younger, but it was that, I was talking to a friend about this recently, it was like that dial-up. Do you remember the screaming sound that it would make? And you couldn't have the phone plugged in if you wanted to be on the internet.
I remember that.
It's so funny. So yeah, they're growing up in a world where they have instant access from the moment they can read or listen to a YouTube video. They can learn anything. They can learn about Tesla's work, about scalar waves, about anything. And yeah, I'm just really excited.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a huge shift in the generation. It's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Is there a third thing, or are they the main two?
I think the third thing would be relationships and boundaries. And so, dynamics, like if I had known, in friendship circles, how to have boundaries and what was okay and what was not okay, I think I would have had a really great time. I think I would have had self-worth in the sense that I could know, actually, it's okay for me to say that I don't really want to do that. Rather than just feeling like, oh, all my friends are doing it, so I have to do it. Yeah. So relationship dynamics with friends and, with romantic relationships as well. I think it's so important. So that would be so good if teens really learnt about all dynamics in relationships.
Yes, that's a great one. Oh, I love those 3. They're fantastic. So if you had, we're still talking big picture stuff, if you had to choose just one thing, because you do so many amazing things, just one thing to be remembered for, what would you want that to be? Could be a message, a piece of work that you're doing, a belief, could be anything. But just one.
So hard.
I know.
It's so hard. I think it would be to leave this world in a better place than I found it. And I think that the work that I'm doing kind of all encompasses that, but that's a really, really high level. But I think just being able to have the ability to hold space for people and to allow them to have transformations and put puzzle pieces together and link certain things along their journey, I think that's what I'd love to be remembered for, because it's something that I love seeing. I love kind of, as a projector, being able to see the aura and see where the puzzle pieces might just not have been connected, and be able to gift that to someone and empower them to go home with that and go, oh, that's the puzzle is put here. I think that would be incredible.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, so this is my favorite question. I ask this to all of my guests, and it is just taking a moment to really give yourself some love, because we so easily look at other people and love qualities about them, love things about them, and go, oh, you can even, quite easily fall into envy at times. I want you to take a couple of minutes to tell me 3 qualities that you love about yourself, that you're like, damn, I do that well, or that is so awesome about me.
I love being able to bring joy to situations, being able to not, bypass people's experiences, but enjoy in moments where things feel dull or things feel really hard. Bring a bit of softness and lightness to that. I love, being able to bring joy. And I think putting fun into everything that we do is so important, because why are we here if we're not having fun? Right. We're not living joy. That would be my first one.
That's so true. That's beautiful.
And my other ability would be to be self-love, I think. I've been on such a journey where for a very long time as a young person, I did not see myself and I did not love myself. And the ability that I have now to genuinely and authentically love the person that I am and that I have been and that I will be is such a gift. And being able to hone into that skill as a quality it's so special, and I'm so grateful, because it wasn't always like this. And I used to be so horrible to myself, and now I just see it and I think, why? Why? Now there's so much self-love and appreciation and gratitude for being me and being in this lifetime right now.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Oh, I love that one so much. Wow. What's the third one?
Third one. I think what I was touching on before around being able to see people's blockages or see maybe what they're not seeing, the puzzle pieces, and just helping them and kind of mirroring that back to them in a really loving and non-judgmental way, and holding space for them to be able to be their vulnerable self and just come to the realization that there are, blockages or puzzle pieces that they need to work on, but in that really safe space. I think that my ability to hold space for people is, I'm really grateful for that. I love doing that.
I will vouch for that. We've only just met tonight, and I feel like I've known you for eons, and I feel so comfortable. I could tell you anything. It's definitely one of your qualities, one of your gifts. It's beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Oh, wow. So I love this question as well, because everyone has a different definition. And I think the word purpose is thrown around a lot, and it can sort of almost be oversaturated, and people sort of roll their eyes going, ugh, purpose. Yeah. But what is your definition of living in your purpose? Like, what does that look like to you? Living
by spirit. So living authentically and living ethically and truthfully to myself at my core, and understanding myself at my core, so that I can live a life that's divinely guided by spirit, and transmuting that out to the world and supporting in the way that I'm here to be of service to people. I think really that's the key for me, is that's true alignment and true purpose. And if I wasn't living authentically, I wasn't for a very long time, and it was just it wasn't fun, not at all. And now I see it and I think, alignment is the highest vibrational frequency we can possibly be in authenticity. And so I think that's really the key for me, and I think that'd be living my purpose.
I love that. That's so beautiful, because I've been quite a late bloomer in reconnecting with my spiritual nature. I definitely felt it when I was younger, and then that was shut down, and it wasn't until I was probably 29, 30 that it started to sort of filter back into my world. And I definitely noticed the difference, because it's taken a while and I still work on it. I forget sometimes to tap into my team. I forget to ask for help. Like, it's such a huge law of the universe, free will. We can't just expect our spiritual team to just step in. But when you ask, and then when you are a skeptic like I was, you can ask for signs. You can ask for really specific signs, or say, show me this number 10 times today to confirm this, or whatever. And that's when you get your mind blown. And then you start to go, what is this thing I am living in? And it's just such a different feeling. It's like you're saying, alignment and that authentic truth is just the highest vibration you can live in. Because once you are aligned with that and you see through the illusion of it all, and you realize that you are actually creating all of this yourself, it's just incredible. So yeah, tapping into your spiritual team, that is a superpower in itself. Just remembering to do that. And again, I think a few years from now, that will be very just common knowledge. That will just be, maybe schools at the start of the day, all the kids sit in a circle and they all tap in with their spiritual teams and they set their intentions for the day, or they ask for what they need help with that day, or whatever it is. And then the scientists can also, they can say the same thing about the subconscious mind. The more I study spirituality and then study the subconscious mind, it's all the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, some people refer to the subconscious mind as the Akashic records, which is what a lot of spiritual people refer to as, the house of all knowledge that has ever been, ever will be. And it's the same thing. It's tapping into that greater wisdom, which is what we all are. But I think that's such a fantastic definition of living in your purpose. Yeah. Being in alignment. So, final question. So this is for the people who might still be in that government job that we used to have, or in a job that they're like, I'm so not aligned with this shit. I know this is not for me. I know I can do something that makes me happy, that brings more joy into my world every day. Whether they know what that actually is or not, how can they start moving towards that thing now? What's one or two things maximum that they could start doing to just get a little bit closer to that thing, to being in the life they want to be in?
I think the biggest thing, and they're telling me to say this, is transition. Transition is huge. And we as people that can see and know and understand, and as people that have lived in other lifetimes, we struggle in the human experience because we want everything now. We want that instant gratification, and we want to just quit our job and then go out and do our work of service. And sometimes that just isn't possible. And for me, that was not possible. There was no way that I could juggle, budgets and finance of life and also do this work of service. It's been a huge transition for me. And so, not that everyone will have that experience, but they're kind of saying, like, go easy on yourself. It doesn't have to be this big, like, okay, I'm quitting now. It's the job that you're in now is helping you get to where you want to be. And that job is such a blessing in disguise, because you can utilize the funds that you're getting from that and use it for the path and the journey that you want to walk. And it's okay to have a job that you don't feel in alignment for a short while whilst you get on your feet. And some people may not be in that boat. Some people might be able to quit and be fine and be able to do that, but not everyone will. And I want to be really realistic with people that it wasn't just something that I quit the next day. I did have some moments where I was like, I'm calling in sick for a couple of months. I need this, But it wasn't something that I quit instantly. And for everyone, it looks so different. But again, they're just saying to me, say transition. Transition is so important. And I think another thing as well is, you can use that job that you're in now for greater good, or you can stay stuck and stagnant in it and think, yeah, look, I'm just doomed for this. I'm just destined for this. This is what it is. And you actually do have the ability to step out of that once you set your eyes on it, set the direction, set the intention, and just follow the nudges, follow the nose, and connect more with spirit, connect more with your higher self. And if you're not sure, use tools, cards, pendulums, all those types of things to be able to hone in those skills and connect with them. And then you can transition and go, you know what? It's okay. It's safe for me to leave now.
I love that. That's such great advice, because I think it's very easy for people. There's a lot of people out there that are going, just leave the 9 to 5. And that's why I very clearly say on my social media, shift out of your 9 to 5. I hope that is clear, because I'm not saying leave it right now, because what happens if you leave it tomorrow, you're going to be so full of fear. You're going to be in a scarcity mindset. You're going to make decisions that are not for your highest good, and it's actually going to work against you. So like you're saying, I love that, is like, see it for what it is, use it to its advantage. And all that it takes to get to that point where you see it as an advantage is a mindset shift, is to go, okay, I know where I want to be. Now I've got my direction, and this is the vehicle this is the rusty car that's taken me the first 5 kilometers, you know? And then I'm going to jump into a little less rusty car. It might still be in the same job, different position. It might be a different job that's a little bit closer, but transition, that's such a great piece of advice. Yeah. Don't do it all overnight. Just roll slow.
Or you can cut back hours, like just create more time. You know, I think that's a big thing. You don't have to do it all at once. It's so easy to go all in and then go, oh, I just jumped off a cliff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Aleesha, thank you so much for your time. This has been so lovely. I can't believe that it's already been an hour. That feels like 20 minutes. I'm like, what the hell? It's just not fair. This is time jumping at its best when you're having a blast. So can you tell the listeners where the best place is to follow you, to maybe book a session, to look further into Solibrium and the EE system and all the other modalities that you offer?
Of course. So if you're not a social media person, we have a website, which is www.energyenhancement.com.au. We do find that that's probably the best place, because everyone and anyone can access that. And then we've got Instagram, which is @Solibrium. We've got TikTok @Solibrium Wellness, and we have Facebook @Solibrium as well.
Oh, you got a TikTok going on. Look at you.
Got it all.
Amazing. I love that. Well, I will put all of those links in the show notes as well, so anyone can just quickly click on them and find you easily. But thank you again so much for your time, love. I've really appreciated getting to know more about what you do. I've heard nothing but amazing things. We have some mutual friends. They cannot stop raving about you and all of the work that you do. And I see your events online all the time. When I'm driving again, I will be coming up to join in on some of those.
I can't wait.
Sound amazing. But thank you again. Have a beautiful night, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you, Sarah. What an honor. It's been such a blessing to be in this space and, share this with you. So thank you so much.